defiance. They try to scare me into thinking I can fight it. They tell me I should never even think of trying. But that's just me, I'm gonna live out in defiance.
All right, that's a little behind the scenes of some video work that I was working on with my stepdaughter for some of the things that she will use in her business. Thought I'd throw that in there at the beginning because it's part of the topic tonight, or the major part of the topic for the night is Nikon and video. So hoping that everybody will jump in here. Let me get the chat going. Let's see. All right. Here we go. All right. So let's hope that we get a lot of people in here that want to talk about it. And, you know, it's a big piece of what just happened with the Z9. So we've been talking a lot about the Z9 lately. And I'm hoping that, you know, people begin to see how important video is for Nikon. Nikon can't survive as just a stills camera only. I've got another video that I did back in 2018, so you'll see how long I've been harping on this with Nikon. It didn't go very well back then because we still had all the stills photographers in there. And of course, the number one thing, the number one thing that everybody harps about has been eye autofocus. That's been the big thing since all the mirrorless, well, not all mirrorless cameras, but since Canon and Nikon came on the scene and started competing with Sony. So skipping the autofocus for just a bit, even though that is a part of the video, it definitely, video world, it definitely helps in the video realm. Just video in itself and Nikon, you know, where do you stand? What do you guys think? How important is the video right now for Nikon? Is it making a difference with Nikon's, I guess, jump into real specs for video? Has it helped the Z9? Would the Z9 be what it is? Would there be as big a rave about the Z9 if we didn't have video? If those video specs weren't in that camera, is it possible that the Z9 would just kind of fall under the radar, fall off the radar or whatever? Yes, I know stills wildlife photographers and all would be raving about it. But how about other people? How about others outside of the Nikon family? Would they be raving about it? I venture to say no. There'd be very little talked about. We would have discussed the doing away with the shutter. We would have been discussing the eye autofocus or the multi-subject autofocus and 3D tracking. And then that would die away and the camera would just go off into whatever. We'd be happy as Nikon shooters. I wouldn't be as happy because, as I said, I've been fighting this with Nikon for a while. Not literally fighting with them, but talking about their inability to attract the next generation or the generation that has embraced hybrid cameras. So I want your opinions on, did it make a difference? Does it make a difference? Will it make a difference? And where's Nikon going to go next in the video world? So, hey, how you doing, Nikon? See you in there, buddy. Do we have anybody? Yeah, we got 4 people in here. So you guys speak up. Let me know what you think. I'm really curious as to what everybody thinks about this. I know I've harped on it in the last 2 or 3 live streams I've done. And maybe I'll take a break after this one and get off the Nikon. I'm sorry, the video kick. But I do believe it is what Nikon needs to not succeed, but to excel in the hybrid camera market. There are just too many people that have thrown Nikon away because Nikon wasn't matching or exceeding what they see in Sony and Canon. Canon came on with a bang. I mean, they already had the cinema world in their pocket, and they could at least dole out some of that cine tech into their early models, and of course carrying on with the R5. The R5 was a big hit. Why? Because it had 8K video. Yes, I know. You could heat your coffee on it. I get that. Didn't matter though. Got very little exposure about the overheating because everybody, Canon is one of those brands you can't bash, and I'm not going to. But Nikon again got left on the porch. So, all right. Video with 8K and no overheating for a sustained period of time is attractive. Let me just drop this in here. All right. Yeah, it's what's it for standard period of time is attractive for video wedding users that otherwise would not have been attracted to Nikon beforehand. Absolutely. I'm going to try to do a little documentary style video here as soon as I get a chance. I want to go hang out with my stepson next time. He's got all of his buddies over there. He's got a lot of guys that shoot video. They follow motocross. They do all kinds of video and motocross and stuff like that. And I'm going to interview some of them and just see what they have to say. And I want everybody to hear what they have to say. I've been through these conversations with them, and I want people to understand how important video is to Nikon. It's going to take a while for people to embrace it. It really will. But I want you to hear from, those individuals, what they think. This is the younger generation. Guess what? They're the guys that are coming up and buying cameras. Most of them already have a camera, but I definitely want to come up with a list of questions to ask them without being intimidating and not pushing Nikon, just to have them tell everyone in their own words why they prefer a Sony or a Canon. And that's it. Those are the two cameras that they predominantly use. So going to do that. That's coming up before too awfully long. All right. Video is big for Nikon. Nathaniel, it is. It's super big for Nikon. Man, again, I'll tell you what, I'm going to play this other video here in just a second. We get a few people in here. I want you to listen to something about video. And this is from 2018. I think that they were capturing the data early 2018. I have a link to the document that I was referring to. I'll drop it in the description. I just forgot to do it before I started the stream here, but it gives all the stats about video. Yes, it's not just about entertainment video, but it's stats that may make Nikon, they know, I don't know why they've been so hesitant, but may make others understand why video is so important for these cameras that are coming out now. It's so important. It's the way ahead. I'm not saying you dump stills, not at all, but if you don't have comparable video with everything else that's out there or exceeding what's out there, you're going to get left on the side of the road. And again, Nikon's not going to fail. Nikon's not going to go bankrupt. Nikon's not going to go away, but they're going to continue to lose market share because hybrid cameras are now and they're the future. So that said, let's see. Who else is out there? Hey T, how you doing? The color science, Nikon's better than the Canon and Sony. I agree, but that's something that we can all argue about. People see things different ways. I believe that's true. A lot of even influencers will acknowledge that Nikon's color science is good. They won't go so far as to say it's the best and it's taken over or anything like that, but they will acknowledge that Nikon's color science is good, and it is. I like it. Part of the reasons why I picked up Nikon and started with Nikon. So, what else we got? And, let me throw this up here too. I've said this before, just so everybody, let me get it out there. If you would like to be in the live stream as a guest appearing in the live stream, just send me an email. The email address is on the screen down there it's down here. So send me an email and we'll connect and talk about it and get you in here. I think it would be great if I could get, multiple guests even in here to go back and forth and talk about it, and let the audience that's in chat, if they're not in, obviously not in the live stream, but let them ask questions. We can all opine. That's all I do. I have very few facts to go on. I didn't have when we were waiting for the announcement for the Z9. I just opine. Try to use some common sense when I do it, thinking about, well, if this is happening or that's happening, then what's next? And let's just jump ahead and say, I believe. I welcome all of you to do that. I had a gentleman drop a comment on one of the previous videos, and I misunderstood it. And this is one of the problems I have with text and everything else. And I might have been a little bit defensive, but when he explained what he was saying, I had to go back and apologize and say, I now understand. And so we can all opine, though, and then we can argue about it and realize sometimes that, hey, we're saying the same thing. We're just saying it differently. All right. Oh, man. Still a lot of fun. Let me get back to my chat window. Hope you guys can see the chat in there. And so color science, yes. What did you think of the little behind the scenes video? That was done with a Z6. I was shooting her with the Z6 II, and I also caught some video with the D850. Obviously, with the D850, it's not near as easy because of the autofocus in it. It's just the F-mount lenses just rack, and I mean, they'll get there, but they're not like the new Z lenses and the mirrorless bodies, the Z cameras. For people that like landscapes and 10 stop for landscape, let's see. Let's throw it up there for a minute, buddy. Get it out there to everybody. 10 stop landscape from various manufacturers like Koken, Lee, and others. The effects differ. Yeah, we were chatting about that earlier. I've only used one. I can't even remember. I have one 10 stop filter. Yeah, I have one 10 stop filter. I don't know what brand it is. I have a 1.5 stop, I think. Yeah, that's oh shoot. I don't think it's Coke, and I can't remember who. I did not know that maybe it's just like T stops and F stops. Maybe that isn't a good correlation here, but there isn't a standard for a 10 stop filter, or there's no, I don't know how they actually measure. Each manufacturer may measure it differently, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I did not know that there was a big difference. I haven't played with a lot of filters, ND filters. I have a variable ND, a couple of them I bought a long time ago, and I have used them. And that is they don't even make them anymore. I can't remember the name of it, but they were one of the first that really made a name in the variable ND. So I used them in a couple of videos, and I found that it worked real well. Yes, it had the horrible X if you went too far and things like that. But in general, it worked real well. Doesn't appear to be a standard for filters. Yeah, I guess not. I don't even know how they would establish it. Maybe that's something that some manufacturer could use to promote theirs, and how they actually come up with what is 10 stop and what is 6 stop and whatever. So I don't, hey, Woody, how you doing? Let me drop this for a minute. Hoping Green Bay can hang on. Don't watch pro football. I quit watching professional sports a long time ago. Still like college sports, still root for Army, obviously, football. And I'm from Kentucky. I bleed blue, so the Wildcats are my team. BMW and Coke. I think it's a BMW 3 stop or 1.5 stop that I have. So there's the other issue. I've wanted to, but I have never invested in a full filter system with the holder and all. Man, you can get into some money with that. Not that I shouldn't, but I just haven't. I've bought the screw-on filters, and the problem with that, of course, is trying to figure out how you can buy one filter size and make it work throughout the diameter of each lens. And I tried step up rings, step down rings, and sometimes you get a little vignette, sometimes you don't, but still playing with that. Hey, Briar, how you doing, buddy? So we got a few people in here. So what do you guys think about the night? Not the video. I mean, where is Nikon with the video? Are they on track? Obviously, the Z9 is the hot thing on the video market. And I don't think everybody understands, not you guys, but all the outsiders understand. They hear 8K video. And I think I brought this up in another video where, there were a couple of youngsters that were on YouTube. They were making fun of Nikon. Yeah, Nikon, it's going to overheat. They have no idea because they don't do any research. But one of the big things that they probably, one of the biggest things about the Z9 is everything you record is in camera. That's fantastic. I mean, that's huge. How many cameras have to record to an external recorder, i.e. right now, not much out there besides the Atomos Ninja 5 and now the 5 Plus, which of course you can do 8K, record 8K as well. I don't know if it does 8K 60 though. I can't remember. I think I looked it up the other day, but I can't remember if it did 8K 60. I know it does 8K 30, but that's, it's just another burden you don't have. Somebody was asking me about, well, video or with the, why would you buy the Z9 for video? Now you're talking about a $5,500 camera, adding tax, and then adding external recorder. Well, I omit the recorder if I want, because it'll do in camera and I can download directly to the laptop or to my computer. Not just that, but I also have the ability, it will do 60 frames. Okay, Briar. Thanks, buddy. Are you talking about the Atomos or, I mean, obviously we know the Z9 will as soon as there's a firmware update. Yeah, 8K files are huge. And, I'm not going to get into a big debate on, I will absolutely admit that they're huge. One of the things, that's where I was going a minute ago. One of the things that Nikon's doing for us is they're going to put ProRes in the camera so that it'll be one of the options, and you can record in ProRes and I believe ProRes RAW. And obviously for anybody that's on a Mac and you want to edit in Final Cut Pro, I mean, you're set. You just download to the computer, import to Final Cut Pro, and go to town. So it will make it much easier. But yes, the files are going to be big. Absolutely. If you're going to record an hour and a half of 8K video, and I don't mean straight, I don't know why anybody would want to do that just yet, but even to have an hour and a half worth of video that you've got to download, well, first of all, you're going to have larger cards in the camera. I get all that. But it's just like when the D800 came out and everybody was laughing at Nikon because you're going to have these huge files and you're going to have to upgrade everything. Well, we didn't. I didn't upgrade anything. Yes, there was a lot of data to save. But you know what? For those that need it and want to use it, they're not opposed to upgrading their system, whatever they need, and buying larger cards, larger capacity cards. So, I know it's going to be huge. I agree. But you accept that if you want to use 8K. If you're buying a camera for 8K, you already know what it's going to take to shoot 8K. However, with the Z9, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to do it. That's what I like. And you can be a run and gun videographer doing whatever, photojournalism. I don't know why you do 8K, so don't beat me up. But you can do everything in camera. You don't have to have that external recorder. And I think that's fantastic. So that's a big jump in the video market with the hybrid cameras, in my opinion. All right, so go over here, blah, blah, blah. I'm missing out on all the comments. Let's see, money goes from Atomos to big memory cards. Yes. Yeah, absolutely, Briar. Well, it does and it doesn't. It may be more inconvenient, but if you're only doing 15-minute or 5-minute takes, you still have the opportunity to swap out those smaller capacity cards. Yeah, not as convenient. Got it. Until you're ready to buy a 1 terabyte card or 2 terabyte card or whatever it is. Yes, those are expensive, but you're right. You do at least you can eliminate the Atomus part of that rig. The I don't know what the price. It's on sale right now. The Atomus Ninja 5 is, I think, on sale right now for about $1,200. Well, that'll buy a card or two. So anyway, that's what I think. All right. And let's see. CF Express cards must have the headroom to produce faster transfer rates. Yes, and that is a consideration, because somebody was talking about, everybody's asking about, can we plug in, since we have the USB-C in camera, can we plug in an external memory card? You know, one of these Joes. And yeah, I think it'd be cool. Obviously, you have to find a mount, but with new cages and things that everybody's making, third party, they have holders for those cards. Now, the problem is, if you go back and look at how fast those cards are, you really need to look close, because most of them, I didn't find any that were any faster than a sustained write speed of 400 millibits per second. And that ain't fast enough. So I don't know why they're asking that, but maybe it would push the third-party external drive folks to develop faster drives. But those are going to be expensive, just because these little SSDs like this are expensive. So, I mean, they're not cheap. All right. A version of the external card that slots via cable into the CF Express cards. I haven't seen that. What was the speed on it? See, that's the big problem. Even for the cards in the Ninja 5, I have a Ninja 5 connected here. I'm not recording. I just have it up there because it gives me another HDMI out to go to another monitor or whatever. So that's a shame, isn't it? Paid all that money. And it just sits up there as a little external monitor. How silly of me. All right, guys. Let me see. Is anybody interested in hearing this video? It's about 3 or 4 minutes long. Again, it's something I produced back in 2018 when I was harping on video, because Nikon was just dragging their feet on it, and it just aggravated me, because I know that video was one of the things that was hurting the Z cameras already. And again, maybe it's just because in my ear, I have all the kiddos that talk about it frequently and basically don't know what they're talking about. They don't have any desire to research. And of course, Nikon was at the bottom of the list. All right, so hang on just a second. Let me make sure I got it all set up here. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Bam. Yeah, look at that chap. All right, guys, here we go. Okay, folks, just thought I'd upload another video here. What's in the title? It's all about the video, stupid. Well, that has a lot to do with the fact that I think everybody misread where the target audience was for the Z series cameras. Ran across an article in wordstream.com. I'll drop the link in the description below. You can check out all the stats that I'm going to give you. They provided a hyperlink to see where and how it was collected. But here's some of the stats they came up with. This is from a marketing standpoint, mind you. But still, if you're a content provider, then you need to be listening to what the marketers are looking at. 82% of Twitter users watch video content on Twitter. YouTube has over 1 billion users, almost 1/3 of the total internet users. 45% of people watch more than an hour of Facebook or YouTube videos a week. More than 500 hours, or excuse me, 500 million hours of videos are watched on YouTube each day. More video content is uploaded in 30 days than the major U.S. television networks have created in 30 years. All the content that television has created in the last 30 years doesn't equal the amount of video that's uploaded in 30 days. It's amazing. 87% of online marketers use video content. So, you know, if you're looking to do something to get into the commercial world or earn a living from video or photography or whatever, that's what the marketers are looking at, is the video. 72 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every 60 seconds. 72 hours. 1/3 of online activity is spent watching video. Here's some others. 85% of the U.S. Internet audience watches videos online every second. 1 million minutes or 17,000 hours of video content will cross the global IP networks by 2021. That's via Forbes. So that's an interesting stat. It is growing. The 25 to 34 millennial age group watches the most online videos. Men spend more time watching videos than women. That's probably true. Everybody wants to know how to change their brakes or whatever. 500 million, 500 million people are watching video on Facebook every day. 500 million people watching video on Facebook. That's just amazing. All right. Half of the video content is viewed on a mobile. So 4K, well, really doesn't matter if they're viewing it on a mobile. So 1080p is just fine. Let's see. 92% of mobile video viewers share videos with others. So that's marketing for yourself if you're producing content and putting it out there. Let's see. 10 million videos are watched on Snapchat per day. This is all inclusive, all videos. It doesn't mean it's of commercial purposes or whatever. 51% of marketing professionals worldwide name video as the type of content with the best ROI. Marketers who use video grow revenue 49% faster than non-video users. So how many people still have a magazine subscription or get the newspaper at home? Probably nobody. We're in the digital age and we get it all via all our personal devices, be it a laptop, iPad, iPhone, or, well, other mobile phone that you may have, smartphone that you may have. Social video generates 1,200% more shares than text and images combined. Amazing. Views on branded video content have increased 258% on Facebook, 99% on YouTube since June of 2017. Man, it's just amazing. Video drives 157% increase in organic traffic from SERPs. Videos up to 2 minutes long get the most engagement. 85% of Facebook videos are watched without sound. Video on a landing page can increase conversions by 80%. Native videos on Facebook have 10 times higher reach compared to YouTube links. Well, that's understandable because everybody's checking Facebook constantly and they're not always checking YouTube. Just a couple more here. An initial email with a video receives an increased click-through rate by 96%. Cisco states that live internet video will account for 13% of the total video traffic in 2018. Video attracts 2 to 3 times as many monthly visitors. Blog posts incorporating video attract 3 times as many inbound links as blog posts without video. Viewers can retain 95% of a message when they watch it in a video compared to 10% when reading it in text. Internet video traffic made up 69% of the global consumer internet traffic in 2017. Man. By 2019, internet video traffic will account for 80% of all consumer internet traffic. The average user spends 88% more time on a website with video. And it's just amazing. So it's about the video, stupid. All right. All right. So it's just a bunch of facts and figures. And how does that relate to what we're talking about? Hybrid cameras and video. Well, obviously, that video had to be made some way. And yes, I know a ton of it's made with just simple smartphones now. Got that. But creative content and those that are creators are trying to step up their game are actually looking for and using hybrid cameras. Now, Nikon, Sony, Canon, and even Fuji, of course. So, oh, well, at least I forget. Oh, shoot. Black Magic. So all these cameras exist for video, and everybody's been working hard on the video side of it, and they have been claiming more and more bits of market share. So I'm just back to, I think it was about time that Nikon took the video serious. Obviously they did. And I think that we may see this, we have to see it. Nikon knows that. They understand it. It will be relevant in all the cameras to come with all the other tech in the Z9. As we move forward, cameras are going to find that tech. New Nikon bodies are going to find that tech, but the video is a big part of it. Hence the video the other day about Nikon producing cine lenses. I just think it would be one of the smart things to do. It at least signals to all the individuals out there that Nikon is definitely serious about video, and they're willing to produce a line of video lenses on the Z mount to take advantage of all the technology that they've put into the Z mount and whatever the secret sauce is again in their lenses, because they're fantastic and there's very little focus breathing, if any. And that's a videographer's dream, is no focus breathing. So all that said, what do you think? What do you guys think? All right. Yeah. Still have a magazine subscription. I did too for a while. Did a lot of fishing, and I used to like to fish tournaments and things like that. And I agree. I enjoyed the magazine versus sitting on the throne with my phone. All right. I don't expect Nikon. I wouldn't expect them to immediately jump on a cine lens line, but I'd like to hear that it's something they're considering and eventually will go into development. Again, signaling, marketing, telling people we're serious, we're coming, and don't overlook us anymore. I don't know how. I think that the specs, the video specs in the Z9 are phenomenal. Obviously, at least the specs and what we've seen from the ambassadors leads us to believe that the video will be fantastic. We're not going to have overheating problems and things like that. I don't think that that's yet gone out to the younger Sony shooters and Canon shooters. And it's going to take a while for them to catch on, which is why we got to keep it alive so that it doesn't fade away or kind of get hidden behind the stills capabilities and everything else. It's just time for Nikon to invest in some marketing for their video. And I think it does both stills and video good because they sell cameras, they have money. R&D has the ability to fund and develop. So, you know, if anybody that's against video and Nikon cameras, well, you're just cutting your own throat. You're just saying, I don't want to see any more innovation. Yeah, it might be a bit drastic, but so what do you guys think? I mean, am I just a lunatic out here still blowing the trumpet for no reason? Nobody can hear it or nobody cares or whatever? Or how do you guys feel? Is it important? And do you even consider discussing that part of the camera if you're talking to your buddies or other people, other shooters? We got to do it. We got to push it. Get Nikon back up there, not on the throne. If we're on the throne, that's great, but get them back up there in the position they've been in for so long with DSLRs and film cameras. So, So Nikon Z9 8K being used in outside events like the NFL, run and gun. Uh, are you saying you see it being used, or you can't see it being used in those situations? And I don't know how I feel. I mean, I could argue from what I think, but that doesn't mean it's the right. I'm right. I think 8K is going to continue to grow. With technology and everything that we have in our home and things like that. 8K is not going to be a big deal on your mobile phone or even your laptop, other than it gives the ability of the editor, the shooter, or whatever to use 8K to their advantage and be able to do some major cropping and things like that, or zoom in during the video and things like that. So may save the day for somebody that, thought they meant to zoom in on a character, a subject, or a product and didn't get that footage. But with 8K, that's not going to be a problem at all. So even 4K 120 is big right now. That is big. My stepson, especially with the things that they're producing, the B-roll, and even in the motocross stuff, 4K 120 is huge. They use it a lot. My opinion, but that's their generation. My opinion is it's overused. However, you know what? Doesn't matter what my opinion is. It's what's selling, and there you have it. It's what they want. So, but 4K 120 will probably be used much more than 8K ever will, or not ever will be, but will be in the near future. Let's see it being used by a small team of people, 8K broadcast. Like, yeah, absolutely. A web address to check out. Okay. All right. So don't have as many people in here tonight. Probably not something they really cared about. Hopefully somebody will stumble across it, and maybe they'll provide some comments too. I just, again, I've been a big, trumpeter for Nikon's video capability for a while now. You saw the intro or the behind the scenes. I had a ball doing that. Obviously that wasn't the final product, but we had a good time doing it. And, hats off to my stepdaughter. Said, yeah, go for it. Got to run around with the cameras and show some video. Then I just did that for fun, just to have a little fun. And she wound up using the that behind the scenes as a oh shoot. I don't know if she used it for in her advertising, but she did send it out to a few people that really enjoyed it as well. All right. So again, you guys have any comments, or you have any jump in here and let me know. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Hey Rick, how you doing? Nice to see you. Just found this and joined a few minutes ago. Looking forward to seeing the beginning. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I'd hoped a lot of people would jump in here and get on my bandwagon, man. My video bandwagon. Nikon's in here all the time. He's tired of hearing about video. So so I'm going to have to change it up, but it's just been real near and dear to my heart, and the marketing side of Nikon. And this is such a wonderful opportunity for them now that they've really done a great job with the Z9, moving away from the stills and just talking about the video. It is a camera unlike any other out there right now. I mean, everything can be shot in camera. I think it's fantastic. It won't be long. Canon R1, I'm sure, will do the same thing. I'll bet you. And the next go around for Sony will do the same. So, let's keep it hot right now while we've got it in the Nikon camp is my big deal. So, CF Express cards now the default for pro users. Well, you know what? And that's a good, I'm glad you brought that up, Nikon. When Nikon went to the XQD card, anybody outside the Nikon camp definitely was going down the road. No, blah, 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 and SD cards and changing cards. And here we go again. And I understand the inconvenience of it. In the Nikon camp itself, people were complaining because everybody had CF Express cards. I had a ton of them. I gave them away, used them in my D800, D810. What else? I don't know. Whatever cameras, with the anyway. So when the D4 came out and it had the XQD card, I got the D4 as soon as it came out, and was lucky to get the little bitty small Sony, I think it was 32 gig XQD card. But I found out real quick how tough those cards were, because I actually ran 2 of them through the washing machine in my jeans pocket. I'd been out shooting and came home and, downloaded everything, didn't check my pockets, go figure, and ran those 2 cards through the washer and the dryer. And then I thought, when I found them in my pants pocket, I thought, oh no, they're gone. Didn't hurt them at all. Still worked fine. And then I was sold on at least the construction and the durability of the SQD cards. And same thing with CF Express. Everybody was complaining because they had a bunch of XQD cards or whatever, but XQD cards were maxing out. They weren't going to get any more RPM out of them. And CF Express comes along, and it's still got another life ahead of it from where it is right now. So anyway, everybody was complaining about it, and the Canon users and all of them were talking about they were happy. And then they got that CFast card, and they just raved about that. How long did that last? Not long. So at least Nikon, and this just shows Nikon's ability to look down the lane, except for video, look down the lane and see what the next big innovation will be and grab it quickly, latch onto it. So what it's done for me is it's given me a bunch of XQD cards that I can still use even in the Z9. I can't shoot 20 frames per second. I might get a burst, but the point is that they still work, and they work fine for landscape, studio, portraits of any kind. So I still have them. I can still use them. But if I want to shoot at 20 frames per second, then I'll have the latest CF Express cards. And I don't know about 8K. I don't remember whether Matt Granger talked about the possibility of 8K video on the XQD cards. I don't think you can. I'm not sure, but we'll find out soon enough. And if you guys know, chime in. Nikon needs to have 20 megapixel full. Well, let me just throw it up here, buddy. Here you go. Zone television. Nikon needs to have 20 megapixel full frame that has video codecs of the Lumix G5. The G5, man, Lumix sold how many of those cameras early on for video? Unbelievable. But yeah, I think that you'll probably see a 20 to 24, and a lot of people are saying 33 megapixel. You're going to see that coming from Nikon here soon. I think you're going to see it with the latest camera, Nikon changing the code. All right, Briar. See, I also had D4 and 32 gig card. Loved both. Yeah, amen, brother. I did too. I loved that D4, and for the life of me, don't know why I practically gave that camera away. I wanted the D5 because I was looking at the ISO and everything else on the D5, and I let the D4 go. But at 16 megapixel, that camera was fantastic. And I tell you again, it was one of those flagship moments camera that had just a different look. I can't explain it, but it looked much better than the D800 at the time. And even the D810, it just had a different look. I don't know why, but it was great. Angelbird Black CF Express cards can handle 8K. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think most of the CF Express cards can handle 8K because they are fast enough for 8K. I don't, but the XQD cards is the question. I don't know that XQD cards can handle it. Find out soon enough, unless you guys seen something somewhere, somebody tested it or said absolutely it won't. I don't know right now. Yeah, we should get that Z9 in because that'll be one of the first things I try. I just want to see how far the XQD card will go in supporting everything um, everything that the Z9 has to offer. Z8 must be coming out. Well, yeah, you know that, buddy. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how soon they announce the next camera body. I mean, obviously, they got a few months to relish in what they have before them right now. The firmware upgrades too. The firmware upgrades that the Z6, Z7 used or received. So it's not just talk about the Z9, but talking about Nikon and their firmware upgrades. Because again, I like to go over and snoop on Canon rumors, and they weren't real happy that Canon was a little slow on the firmware updates, other than putting the fire extinguisher update into the R5. But they haven't, it hadn't been quite as prolific as what Nikon's been doing, which I know a lot of people say, well, it's very unusual for Nikon to do that. I agree. But it looks like they're definitely married to the fact that they're going to continue to upgrade, give us firmware updates. So that's great. All right. Briar, regarding marketing, let's see it. Well, let me throw it up here for you, buddy. Let's get everybody involved. Regarding marketing, if you all scrolled through Nikon USA Z9 page, enormous pic and vid sections. They went all in and it's paying off in spades. Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't, I haven't looked at Nikon USA for just a couple of weeks. I mean, I looked at it obviously after the camera was announced and see what they had on there. Of course, they had all the typical videos that were used in the announcement, but I haven't looked at everything over there. So I got to go check it out now. Yeah. The video has to be paying off. I mean, I said that up front for anybody that wasn't in here. Would the Z9 be as prolific as it is without those video specs? If they had just gone the typical route of, yeah, we're going to give you 4K 60 and that's it. That's as far as we go. And it's not, and it isn't internal recording at 4K and blah, blah, blah. Would that camera be as prolific? I say no. I don't think it would. Still a great camera. Obviously, the still side of it's fantastic. It has everybody talking about that. But without that video, taking it all the way up to 8K, promising a firmware update for 8K 60, internal recording and ProRes, those are three huge things. And that is part of what's made it so appealing. So much so that a lot of influencers don't want to talk about it. They'll talk about other stuff. They'll nitpick a little bit, but they don't want to talk about all the video capability of the camera. You notice that? Price of the Z7 II and Z9 would put a Z8 to fill the price gap. Yes. Yeah. And I think what Nikon's done with that price on the Z9 should make everybody extremely happy, because how are you going to bring out the half body? I don't know how to say it, what the non-battery grip or the non-full body camera. How are you going to bring one of those out with specs that are over and above what we have in the Z6 II and Z7 II right now, and then charge the same price that you did for the flagship, if you will, or more? So my reasoning here is, with the price of the flagship, we're going to see that body fall into the 35 again, 35, maybe. No, I'm going to say 35 max. So we'll see. We'll find out. Be waiting at the door. You know it, Woody. I'm hoping I get a phone call that morning, or one of the rumors, somebody in one of the rumor forums said that they talked to their, excuse me, their dealer. I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but they talked to their dealer and the dealer said December 3rd. Who knows? Who knows? Nikon never put a date on it. The only date they put on it was general saying by the end of the year. That could be the 29th of December, 30th of December. But then again, it could be the 29th or 30th of November or 3rd of December. So who knows? But I'll be waiting. I'm just waiting for the phone call to say, are you ready to, do you have your credit card handy? And of course, my answer will be yes. All right. Okay. As I said before, if Nikon makes a true D500Z camera, would consider it. I believe they will. I believe they will, Woody. And we talked about that before the announcement. How much screaming and rejoicing and everything would there be had they pulled another D500 moment? Man, I mean, that would put them over the top. They would have captured, they being Nikon, would have captured the headlines and the influencers and everybody's attention for not just a few weeks, but a few months. I mean, that would be phenomenal. My phone buzzing over here. Mama's coming home soon. All right. Oh, I think they will, Woody. I think you're going to see it. I think you'll see a pro body DX camera from Nikon, because the D500 did extremely well. It was a big hit. I know that both cameras, D5 and D500, came out at the same time, and I almost fell over like, yeah, I can't afford both of them, but I want both of them. So I got the D5, and it was about a month later I got the D500. Yeah, or at least an announcement. At the announcement for the Z9, and it might not have been the right time, but somewhere towards the end, it could have been that little hint, and we haven't, overlooked DX body or something like that, just to give us a little snippet of, oh, it's coming. Nikon still isn't as open as I think most of us would like them to be, and give us more hints, but we'll see. We'll keep our eye on Nikon rumors. I mean, Peter over there has been fantastic, man. He's hit the nail on the head. I don't know how many times for upcoming cameras. All right. Z version D500 may come out. Yeah, I agree, Nikon. We're going to get one. I don't know when. Right now, that's it. You could look at this strategically many different ways, many different strategies. If you come out with the DX version of the Z500, or not, well, it's a DX, of course, but you come out with a Z500, let's just say, and is it going to take anything away from the Z9? I say no, not at all. It's going to give you a whole lot more sales of those that wanted a Z9 but really didn't need it, and for those that want the crop factor for other things, wildlife or whatever. If you came out with a Z8, or you come out with a Z8 here real soon, everybody's talked about D700 stealing D3 sales, D3S sales. I don't think that it did. I think it allowed people that weren't willing to go that far with a D3. So would a Z8 still sales from the Z9? I think initially, here in the short term, I think that it could. But 6 months from now, no, I think that would be the perfect time to bring out the Z8 or whatever they're going to call it, or at least announce it. By then, everybody that's willing to scrape to buy a Z9 will have bought it, or it's close enough to delivery that they're going to stick with it. But I don't know. What do you guys think? See, you could be a guest in here. Then we can be talking back and forth. Well, not literally in my living room studio, but via Restream. And again, I just invite you guys, if you want to get on here, jump in. Let me hear it, because you can definitely throw your opinion out there a whole lot easier speaking it than having to type in all that stuff. And you're more than welcome. I'm looking for people that are willing to do it. All right. Rick Ross. Phenomenal sales of the Z9 will help Nikon to accelerate the development of future cameras with the Z9 like technology, Z8, Z500, etc. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know how many people, Nikon shooters that are pro shooters, that will argue, that they want what they want. They don't care. They don't understand that all of say R&D isn't based off one unit. It's based off overall sales. The money goes back into R&D, not based on how one camera sells. It's for all sales. More sales you have, obviously, the more money for R&D, the more innovation we get sooner. I think Nikon would continue to innovate. Obviously, they have. But when you pour more money into R&D, you get products quicker. So I agree. Totally agree, Rick. Absolutely. All right. Get vocal, people. Let's hear it. Shoot me down. Anything I've said, shoot me down here. And again, if you didn't get in here earlier, there were quite a few things that we talked about, jumped on. I invite you to go back and rewatch it. Cine lenses is a big thing. I did a video or live stream on that, and that came up again. I brought it up, of course, but being a big part of the video, rise of video and Nikon, I think it really sends a signal. Nikon, we're here. We want you to look at us, and we're here to support you as a videographer or whatever. So I had the comment that I mentioned earlier where I had to go back and basically apologize for, I was a little probably defensive in my first response. I think that, let me hit my mute button over here on the, I think that I was a little defensive, as I said, but I just wanted, it was about a blogger sitting in his bedroom or living room blogging, has no need for the Z9, blah, blah, blah. And the way that he worded it was correct, but I read it the wrong way. And I got real defensive about, here we go again, talking about who can afford or who should have or whatever. And I want to get away from that. I'm not a financial counselor for all the video people out there. If they want to buy it, they buy it. They know they can or they can't and whatever. But anyway, that's not what he meant. So, talking about, I don't know how I got off on that. That's why I need somebody in here with me. I'm tired of flagship people. Well, only so many people buy a flagship, or pros buy a flagship. Well, let's not call it a flagship then. I'll bet you more non-pros, or not more, but as many non-pros buy the Z9 as pros buy. Betcha. And here's the other thing. There are more hobbyist photographers than there are pros. Anybody agree with that? I don't think Nikon, Canon, or Sony could survive on just pro shooters. I'm talking real pros. That is their lifeline. It provides 90% of their income as being professionals. I'm not calling the guy that does a wedding on the weekend a professional. He may have professional quality photos and things like that, but he's not a professional. So you can't throw him into the mix and say, well, he's a professional and he got the Z9. No, beg to differ. I think as many hobbyists are going to buy this as professionals. Here's one, not a professional. Will the cameras, what'd you say, Nikon? Will the cameras have, say, bit code in the exit data to track stolen cameras or lenses and to cripple the devices to cut down on theft? I think the only thing that we have right now, and the only thing that the Z9 has still, is just the exif data that can be, I guess, anybody still in the camera probably doesn't know how to get rid of exif data, but how hard is it to track exif data? So the big buzz right now is putting in the fingerprint reader on a camera so that it can only be opened by the owner or whatever, thus preventing people from selling once they know that that's the case. I don't agree with that. I don't want to go through an extra step. I don't want anything in there that I can screw up, which, you know, the fingerprint reader is something I could even screw up. I don't want any of that. My opinion, and open for discussion about it. And I don't want something else that can go wrong in the camera. And I don't believe it will render the camera inoperable enough that it can't be broken. And if you have that in a camera, somebody's going to break the code on the ability to bypass it or redo it or whatever. It's not going to stop. It's definitely not going to stop your, you know, local street hustler out there that wants to steal your camera and go to a pawn shop. I shouldn't say, maybe I should say it's my opinion that it won't. But I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't know where you put it on a camera. Maybe you, as you turn it on, then you got to stick your thumb on the LCD or whatever. And then we're going to have the issue of, I don't like it because I want it to come on instantly, which is another big point on the Z9. It fires up in a split second or less than a second or whatever. So yeah, I mean, there's mixed feelings on that. I don't know that there's any way around, there's any way to burglar proof a camera. Maybe there's technology coming that will do it. A face reader like on the iPhones or something like that. You put your eye up to the viewfinder or your face on the LCD or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how that would work rear facing, but anyway, maybe there's some technology coming. So I don't know, Nikon. I don't think there's a foolproof way to stop or to prevent thieves from targeting cameras. I don't know. My opinion. Argue with me. All right. So, I mean, again, this was more of a rant on the oh shoot, sorry, something popped up here. Okay, had to make sure. Is this Mama? She's okay. Sorry. This was really about the video. I wanted to rant a little more. I know I need to move away from talking so much about the video in it and Nikon, but again, I see it as a big thing for Nikon. And if they hadn't brought out the video specs in the Z9 that they did, then I'd be on here talking about Nikon's still missing the boat, still losing out, still don't understand. But it's really important that we get this next generation into Nikon. These kids that buy into, you know, start out with Sony. Most of them go to Sony and some to a lesser degree to Canon. They get invested in a few lenses and they're not going to switch. They're just not going to. Down the road, they're going to stick with it. And we've got to find a way to prevent them from initially jumping without looking at the alternatives. And this is a big step, big way ahead for Nikon to do that. And they really need to start marketing in that direction, because those are the kids that are buying the lower end Sony and Canon cameras, hoping to own an R5 someday or an A1 someday or whatever other version of the, you know, higher end cameras that come out. And we definitely need to get them to look over here. Hey guys, don't just run over there. Understand that Nikon has comparable, if not better, products for what you want to do. So I know that a lot of people are crying about, on the other side, and it's like the two kids talking about, well, that full body, oh, I don't want to carry that thing. You don't want me to go off on that again, that tangent. Yeah, lighter's great, but you know what? 8 ounces more is not going to break my back. So anyway, all right. So that's the Nikon video rant. And I think Nikon's onto something. I just hope that they continue to push forward and address that market, that segment, and get them involved in at least at the lower echelon and working their way up just like everybody else. The firmware updates are a biggie, and they need to figure out how to market just the fact that they're doing these firmware updates. And I don't know how to do it. Go hire the Geico commercial team, man. They're fantastic. Every commercial Geico does is, knocks it out of the park. Go hire those guys to figure out how to get the product out there. They obviously don't have a real marketing team. They just got a couple of guys that think they know marketing. So that's my big slam on Nikon, is their inability to market. All right. D90 was video, but decided it wasn't worth it. But now see the folly of such an approach. Absolutely. And we've talked about that before. And that's one of the questions I want to ask these kids. Just so I'm going to ask them those questions. I'm not going to give them the answers. I'm just going to ask them to see what they say. And one of them is going to be who had the best video in DSLRs, and let them answer. Who was the first to put video in a DSLR? And those kind of things, just to show them after the fact. I'll give them the answers. It's not a big sell. I'm not out there as a salesman to sell them on Nikon. I just want them to understand that, you need to look further than Fro Knows Photo or Tony and Chelsea, because obviously they're going to steer you down their path, and Nikon is not on their path. Yeah, wildlife. Is it Chantia Tan? So do you have a Z500 now? I'm guessing you do, and you're just looking for, you want to see the Z5, or I'm sorry, you have a D500 now, and you're wanting to see a Z500 for wildlife. And I've got a question for you, Chantia. Is it you want a Z500 for the crop factor to give you more reach in your lenses? Okay, I get it. All right, that makes sense. I have a D500, and yeah, I like that it gives me more reach. I didn't even buy DX lenses for it. When I did purchase it, I expected to use it on all my other long glass, just like you, for the reach. It's not a lot, but it does make a difference, doesn't it? And yes, I think that the Z500 will come out. I think that, again, I don't know what Nikon's strategy is. Yeah, and it's affordable. Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. You have a D500. If you don't mind saying, what did you pay for your D500 if it was new? Because what I'm going to throw at you here is, looking at the price on the Z9, what if a Z800 comes out at 33 megapixel and it's, $500 more than the original price of the D500? Would that be enticing? Or you strictly just want to stick with DX? Because you could always shoot in DX mode on the on the Z8, Z8, whatever they're going to call it. Hey, Robert, how you doing, buddy? Pro APS-C coming soon. Just makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, man. We were talking about, what does come next. Yeah, yeah, with the technology now they have in sensors, yeah, there's no reason why it couldn't be a 33 megapixel crop sensor. And what makes sense right now for Nikon strategically, again, my opinion, the DX version, Pro DX camera comes out next because it's not going to steal away anything from full frame, especially the Z9. A Z8 coming out right away could take away from Z9 sales. And I've argued this before and said all sales are good. It doesn't matter if one steals from the other. And I also beginning to think that there's no more profit margin in a flagship than there is in other bodies. I don't know why I feel that way, but I really do feel the profit margin is not that far separated between each individual unit or model. And if that's the case, then it really wouldn't matter if one camera steals sales from another camera body. So I don't know. I don't think we'll ever get an answer to that, whether that's the case or not. But I do believe you're right. I think that it'll be strategically, it would be wise. So many people are asking for it that I think it would be wise to come out with that Pro Body Z crop sensor camera. Who knows? Maybe that's what they'll do. The Z8, I really believe, is going to be 6 to 12 months down the road, only because they're going to let the fire burn out on the Z9. But if profit margin isn't that big, then that blows that strategy completely out of the water. But we'll see. We're already anticipating what's next. We wouldn't be doing that if the Z9 wasn't so fantastic. So, that's one good thing. And maybe here soon we'll have those cameras in our hand, and then Nikon will feel better about maybe dropping a couple of hints, letting us know what's coming. So, Robert, do you have a Z6 or a Z7 or Z6 II, Z7 II? Yeah, 33 megapixel does sound good. Yep. And I didn't forget about you, Chantia. 2K including tax. Okay. So if the next the next Z8, if you will, Z8, if it comes out and it's say $3,000, is that too far out of reach, or it doesn't matter because you still want the crop factor? I'm just trying to figure out there. Yeah, 11 megapixel from 33. Yeah. With, a shotgun burst or machine gun burst on it. Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. Now, what do you guys think? We got this XSpeed 7 processor now, which is so much faster, so much larger than the XSpeed 6. Are all cameras from this point on going to have the XSpeed 7 processor, or it's only going to be in the semi-pro models? What do you think? Because I think the rest, anything semi-pro up, gets the XSpeed 7. Oh, Z50, cool. All right. Man, there's a lot of people raving about that too. They're raving about the ZFC as well. So, Briar, you think that all the semi-pro bodies that come next are going to have the XSpeed 7? I think they will. I think they have to. Yeah, better be. I agree. I just wondered if they would just go full bore and XSpeed. You don't need the XSpeed 7 in, a more entry level camera. But maybe they do it. Z5's turned out to be a great camera that a lot of people don't recognize. I know. Crop factor. Okay. See, I see it there, Chantia. Yeah. Okay. I got you. Nothing wrong with that. You know what you want. And that's great. Well, hopefully you'll get your wish. And you too, Robert. Uh, Hopefully the DX model will, the Pro DX model will come out here soon, or we'll get hints. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what Peter digs up over there. It's really going to be interesting now. Now that we know the Z9, not that we know, I mean, it's going to be shipped and okay, it's out of the way. So we're not worrying about that. Now the big question is what comes next. I mean, we knew the Z9 was coming and we were still looking for rumors about what it was coming or bringing with it. But it's here. That's out of the way. Now we're back to what camera. It'll be interesting to see what he digs up over there. Camera, depending on the person's needs. Z6 III should have 33 megapixels. Sony's equivalent does. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, they're kind of flipping things around here. Nikon was stuck in the 24-ish megapixel flagship camera, and now they come with the Z9 at 46 megapixel. We had with the D5 at 24, we had the D850 at 47 or 46 as well. Are they going to flip flop? Are we going to go to a 33 megapixel in the semi-pro body, if you will? It'll be interesting to see. This is going to be real interesting to see. No matter what they do, they're going to be half of the camp that's going to complain. So you got to get ready for that. If you get what you want, the other side's going to complain they didn't get what they wanted, and vice versa. So get ready for that. Let's see. Robert, you built up your Trinity. You have the 24 to 70. Next is the 14 to 24. Yeah. Okay. I don't have, I have not bought, I bought the two, I hate to say kit lenses. They're not. The two F4 lenses that I have are the 14 to 30, which I love actually. And that's what I'm shooting with right now on the Z6. And I have the 24 to 70, which was literally in a kit. I don't want to call it a kit lens, and I think it's a fantastic camera for studio work. Is just fine. I mean, it's fantastic. I'm shooting it at anywhere between f6.3 and f8. So it's just fine for that. I also have the 51.8. Yeah, 20 megapixels. Sorry about that, Robert. You're right. Not even own the camera. You'd think I'd know that. Let's see. Is that Azali? Azali Salamat. All shutterless. Let me throw you up here on the screen. All shutterless counterpart of the DSLR should be cheaper. Yes, I agree. Not only because they're not in body, but also Nikon doesn't have to manufacture them as replacement parts. Yeah. I think they're going to be cheaper for even more reasons. I think the manufacturing and production of the mirrorless cameras is cheaper. And Nikon, we've talked about this many times, dropping the optical viewfinder, which you brought up first, the cost of building the optical viewfinder, the glass and everything that goes in it, because that's polished and, glass that goes into the prism, removing mirror and the mechanical shutters. We just determined it saves money. I just think that it does myself. I think all the cameras that Nikon comes out with now are going to be cheaper. Optical prism left out. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a big one. And it's not just that has to be calibrated. It's not like they just stick it in there. It has to be calibrated to the camera, to the sensor and everything else. So you're removing a whole lot of process in the, from the production line, from actually the assembly. I think that adds to cost savings. Um, I mean, the Z9 shocked a whole lot of people, so maybe the follow on cameras will be the same. I think that they may be. I think they may be. Yeah, let's say it's 20%. Yeah. How does that equate to? Have you figured that out yet? If we expected the Z9 to be 6,500 and it's 5,500, what's a percentile savings there? That could give you a real good idea of what that all the other widgets and mechanics and assembly cost for the DSLR. Oh, yeah, interesting times for Nikon, most definitely. It puts a smile on our face because we kind of been down in the mouth for a while. The Z6 and Z7, it wasn't they were bad cameras. I think we all went through the anger of the reviewers and everything else, and the one card slot crap. When that wasn't unique to Nikon at that time, but Nikon got beat up while everybody else got a pass on it. But yeah, we're back in the cheering seat, no doubt about it. The Z9 brings us back to a point where we can start smiling, lift our heads up a little higher again. And I think the fallout from the Z9 is definitely going to be good. Nikon it's not back. They have jumped way ahead in the mirrorless game. And now we'll show what Nikon can do. They have been an innovator, no doubt about it. And this may be that, as they say, the D3 moment. And a lot of people have been talking about, said, will other people switch brands? Maybe not yet. But as Nikon continues to innovate, there's a good chance Nikon could bring a lot of those people back or switch back to Nikon or move from another brand to Nikon. So I think we got good days ahead of us in the Nikon camp. And I'm not saying it to brag about it. I'm just saying that we get the benefit of all that innovation. And these knuckleheads that want to, play my dog's bigger than your dog don't understand that what Nikon did with the Z9 is definitely going to help them. But they're too stupid, really. Some of them people are just too stupid to realize that. All right. Back to the bad press on, no doubt about it. They got bad press, Z6 and Z7. Camera phones like the new Sony are now competing against entry-level digital cameras. Yep. At $1,700, it's nuts. I agree. People shooting with a 1-inch sensor. Yeah, I agree. And I had somebody, speaking of that, I had somebody say they have the iPhone 13. And they said, look at this. And the footage was really good, the video. But my question was, can you do that in a dark room? No. Can you do that at night with night sky or, the point here is that no matter how good it gets, I don't see anytime soon the camera phone with a 1-inch sensor or smaller. I can't see those competing with the mirrorless bodies that are out there now. So it's only going to go so far. Yes, a lot of people are only, going out and taking video at, their buddies or their friends or whatever outside doing something or whatever, but they still can't compete with a interchangeable lens camera. And I don't see that changing anytime real soon. So Z9 has shown Nikon can still innovate. Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't think we ever gave up on whether they could or not. It's whether they would. And we shouldn't have doubted, but I'll tell you, I did. I was beginning to doubt. I knew that they could do it. All right. Frame rate and no blackout can be reserved to the flagships. Yeah. There's going to be people that are going to complain because now we go back to if they can do it in that, why can't they put it in this? They want, again, they want a Ferrari at at the price point of a Yugo or a Pinto, or showing my age here. But, they're just people that are always going to be that way. Why does that have to be so expensive? Well, the components for it are a little more expensive and blah, blah, blah. But so I don't know. I agree with you, at least initially. The frame rate and the blackout probably will, for a bit, be reserved to flagship cameras. And for a lot of reasons. And I talked about that a while back. The body is a big part of the capabilities, especially on the video side of that camera, the Z9. It's obviously a whole lot more room to dissipate heat. So yeah, there are some things that are going to be reserved to the flagship for now. Yeah, Ferrari engine and the Yugo body. There you go. Well, I'm telling you, they're just people that, they want it for free. I mean, okay, I get it. And then, everybody can joke around and say, well, I do too, but I know I'm not getting it free. You're going to get what you pay for. And if you don't like it, there's always another model or whatever that you can buy. But no, I want it all for. And then we have the Build-A-Bear. Everybody familiar with the Build-A-Bear store where you go in there and you put your little teddy bear together with whatever you want on him? We have the Build-A-Bear camera folks. They want to build a camera. They want components that come off. You can take the back off, put this on. You can, I mean, come on. Crazy. Give this Briar frame rate, no blackout can be reserved flagship. Absolutely. Give us the same AF tracking, limit the other stuff, and charge less. And here's the thing I don't want to see them do, Briar. I don't want to see them go over to Canon and borrow the cripple hammer. And what I mean by that is, if they can put it in the body, the Z8, let's just say Z8 for now. If they can I want to see them put everything they can into the Z8. Yeah, I know the flagship, you can't cripple the flagship. I don't think you will, because I think that there will be some physical reasons why they can't duplicate all the features of the Z9 in a smaller body. Now, I may be wrong, but I would like to see them bring over everything they can, just so I don't have to listen to the crying about, you could have at this price, but you didn't. It only cost some software and blah, blah, blah. I just eliminate all that. Give that camera everything that you can, price it accordingly, and then we don't have to listen to all the whining. And if you don't like the price, you can go down a model that doesn't have all the bells and whistles and buy that one. I mean, that's just my opinion. Yeah, no AK60 for certain. I don't even know that it's possible yet to do that in a smaller body. I mean, Canon definitely had a problem with it. I mean, obviously, and they still do, but it's curbed enough now that people are okay. They're still going to use it because most of them aren't going to shoot 8K anyway. And I don't know how much 8K, even for Nikon with the Z9, is somebody really going to shoot continuous 2 hours of 8K video, 8K30 that is, or even an hour and some minutes of 8K60 video? I doubt it. And then the larger body obviously helps out with that. But I think the problem was with Canon is they were really crippled there in the beginning. I don't know what they did, changed codecs or algorithm or something to at least curb the heating in the body. But it still gave you some 8K footage before you had to go into I think the bigger issue was with everybody was 4K 120, wasn't it? Because that would overheat. And I think that's what was really bothering people. Now that I understand. Let's see. Snowflakes can't hardly read, so the chance of them building a camera is remote, as it requires logic and reason, which they don't have. Yeah, it would be again, I'll show my age, the old Johnny Cash song, 1969, 79, whatever Cadillac he built that became a Frankenstein. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you couldn't trust people to put the right components together only because you'd have overheating problems or they try to cram something in there that would cause other problems. But I think Nikon's on the right track. Again, back to I really happy that the video specs came out in our favor, Nikon's favor, and I think they've definitely read the tea leaves and understand now they've got to address that and continue. My only complaint with them right now is they really aren't marketing that capability. And it's not just through a couple of people showing the video. Nikon itself, not just through a few people, needs to figure out a way to tap into the marketing for that and what's to come. And that alone gives people peace of mind to invest in the Nikon brand. And that's what we need right now. We need people to invest in Nikon, give it a chance, and not listen to all the influencers out there. And there are very few common everyday influencers that are preaching Nikon. And if you know of somebody that's really big, that's very much an influencer, that is nothing but Nikon, and I don't mean just a reviewer, who may have a review from time to time, but you got, the three, the 1 and 2 team that are out there constantly reviewing everything. And no matter what, they will find a way to drag Nikon into that review about another product and talk about how bad Nikon is. But we need some folks out there that are ready to step up. We need a big time. I know you can't do that overnight, but we really need somebody to step up and be on the ball and be very out there up front in the influencer world, constantly talking about what Nikon does well, not bashing anybody else, but talking about what Nikon does well. All right. Bigger body dissipates heat better. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why we're talking about, can you bring that into a semi-pro body using Z8 as an example? We don't know if it'll be a Z8, but I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I know it's hard to believe for you all, but I'm about out. If you guys need to jump in here and keep this going. I'm about out of opinions. I can go back and repeat them over and over and over, which I have somewhat, but yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting the camera in our hands and so on and so forth. So for you guys that tuned in late, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, I get that, but just jump all the way back to the beginning. I got a little behind the scenes that was done with a Z6. I don't know. I may have it backwards. I had a Z6 and a Z6 II. I was using one of them I think it was a Z6 II I was using to video. It was my stepdaughter. She's putting together some videos for things that she does. And I just did a behind the scenes and threw a little soundtrack in there, which I have the rights to. YouTube, I have the rights to it. I didn't put it in the description, but I will. And it's just kind of fun, but you can see the Z6 II is holding its own. And I mean, the Z6 is holding its own, and it's just fun to watch. So I just say, go back and watch it. Laptops and the GPU plus RAM have to be beefed up to handle 8K. Yeah, it does, Nikon. I know a lot of people haven't upgraded computers, but right now, and I had my first Mac laptop, MacBook Pro. I had that thing. I bought it in 2011. No, 2013. And I just upgraded last year to the 2019 MacBook Pro. I wish I'd waited one more year for the M1 chip, but I didn't. So, but that little, my first MacBook Pro, I still have it. I still use it. Final Cut Pro runs great on it. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say I've run any 8K footage through it. No, I didn't. I don't have anything to shoot 8K with, but I'm going to try it. You know, I'm going to try it. When the Z9 gets here, I'm going to try editing some 8K video on my old 2013 MacBook Pro just to see. And if anybody asks, then I can at least tell them yay, nay, or it's okay or whatever. I've got 32 gig RAM in the new laptop, which is, man, phenomenal. Now you can get 64 gig, but in my old MacBook Pro, I think it's 12 gig RAM. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. So anyway, hey guys, I hadn't said it yet, and you know, I looked down there, Nikon and Azali, and you know, thank you all for stopping by in here, even if it's for a brief moment. I enjoy the back and forth, and you know, I'll say it again. Anybody that wants to, now I got to go over here, wants to be a guest in here. When I say a guest, I mean you're just in here and you can chat, and we'll share the chat and everything else, and your opportunity to opine without having to type it all, and you're more than welcome. Anybody that wants to, the email's there at the bottom of the screen. By all means, shoot me an email and we'll figure out how to link up so I can shoot you a link to join the chat. And that's all it is. I send you a link and you click it and you're automatically brought into the chat, not live at that point, but then I move you into the chat live. So anybody that would like to do that, by all means, do it. The other thing is I'm working on another phone, and I can go back to having call-in viewers. It works seamlessly through the Rodecaster Pro, so may get that going here before too awfully long as well. So I'm out, guys. I'm out. Help me out here, or I'm going to bid you all farewell for the night. And again, thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for your comments. And you like us, stick around. We're going to continue to do these and try to do it in the most fun way we can. So see, we've got 8 visible right now. And I appreciate you guys. Hoping we got a whole lot of people that are just incognito. I have a feeling that Nikon Z9 bashers were throw it up here real quick. Because they were not selected by Nikon as Nikon beta testers. Yeah. Somebody brought up too, and a lot of no-name people wound up with the camera in their hands, which I think is fantastic. It's really nice to see that and see what they do. And I think Nikon should continue that. Because when you see somebody that's not this professional, if you will, I mean, I love seeing them too, but somebody that's not such a professional and they're handling the camera, you know that you're getting a real feel of what that camera's doing. So I think that's great. I think it's great. All right. With that, I will say, and Briar, thank you. It always is a fun discussion with all you guys. Grab your friends and bring them in here. Grab your Sony shooter friends and your Canon shooter friends, if you have any. Bring them in, and we'll see if we can't at least enlighten them. We're not here to convince them, but at least enlighten them on what Nikon's doing and everything else. So with that, guys, I don't have anything else unless you guys throw something up there, and I'll hesitate long enough to give you a chance. Other than that, you got everything I had to say tonight, and hopefully you guys shared everything you had to say as well. Thank you, Nikon. Thank you, Briar. All right, fellas, ladies, if they're hiding in the back there, I don't know. God bless you all, and there will be a reminder come up for the next live stream. I don't know when it'll be, but it won't be long. All right, everybody have a great night. Thanks again.